forget loud Mexicans.
We forget what we were talking about.
Well, welcome to Loud Mexicans podcast.
Loud and obnoxious.
Yeah. We're doing round 2 with Manny. He was on the podcast. We just looked it up. Episode 80.
Round dos.
Yeah. 80 was the original one.
Episode 80.
80. There you go. So we were going to do a podcast previously when COVID kind of hit, and
Yeah.
herpangina happened in our family.
Vagina.
He's sleeping right now.
That is the real term you say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the real term
He's
for this.
sleeping right now. He's in the Manny's extra room, and he came with me and did the ride. But we thought we had COVID, but it's some kissing disease. If you listen to the podcast, you heard
Kissing disease. Herpangina.
herpangina. So it's like
They couldn't find a better word for it.
You would think, and maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Herpangina.
There you go. It probably is that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I feel kind of bummed that I never got it. Like,
Right.
did I miss out on stuff?
Yeah.
Like, was I not part of the...
you weren't with enough girls, I guess, at that age, huh?
Maybe they just weren't dirty enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were too clean.
Hey, you change that up nowadays,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, it's never quite
Dirtier
been
the better
too bad
now.
of a problem.
So yeah, we're gonna do another follow-up podcast and also a Q&A.
Q&A.
But
TNA.
there we go. We're gonna start off with how has fishing been out here for you, man?
It's been really good because we got like 4 load ups on a trip. So that's like, what, dude? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And a load up, let's just explain, is like
Yeah.
basically on the soft base, we were throwing the battle shad, and my client and myself too, because I grabbed the rod too and felt one for myself. Like, it's like they bite and like, ooh, there's a fish. And I'd reel down. And like, even though I reeled down a lot, I was kind of in my head, like, I know I should probably reel down more, but then I went to set hook and like, just a lot of stretching the line. And I ended up like setting hook like twice. I don't know why, instead of just like, winding them in, but I knew right away, like I didn't reel down enough. So I feel like those fish, and it was super windy. It was a freaking hurricane, like the water coming everywhere. So it was a lot going on. There's a lot of line out there, right? That's like not being managed right. And I just felt like there was too much stretch in line. They were too far out. And like, but I know, and especially from my client too, like I know the difference between like when they're snagged or like, hey, there's nothing there for you to snag on. Like that's a bite and the way to load up. And I would see them load up, load up, head a hook set and go for the net. And then like, oh, it's off. But again, just the fact that we had fish bite, like legit eat it, was already like, wow, that's better than I expected. So that tells you how bad fishing has been for me in the last 2 years. That's exciting. That like, dude, we had 4 load ups. This is banging. We're back.
Yeah.
Like, it's back in business. But saw fish on the graph, found gizzard shad in Canyon Lake is where we were, and found these dead gizzard shad that were like the perfect size of the 9-inch battle shad. And so all that stuff was promising, there's food. And even though those shad were dead, I think they just die from like water temperature changes and things like that. And it was, again, that's promising nowadays.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
To go from, we caught a couple 8s, good day. Cool. We had more chances, landed 2, badass. We did it. Like, that used to be kind of what spoiled us, or not spoiled. It wasn't never easy, but that helped us, that helped make it fun. But now that's how bad it has been. And, when I posted that, like there was some local guys that reached out too, like, dude, I've been out there for 2 weeks and like
can't get
not
nothing.
a tick. Like, that's amazing. And well, maybe it was the wind or something got them all riled up. But we had a couple trips like that. Another one with the younger guy from Texas. And again, he got like loaded up, I think once or twice.
Yeah.
And so that was like, wow, this promising,
It'll come
should
around.
be out there right now.
It'll come around, but
Eventually will,
Yeah.
I think maybe another few years, but
what was cool when we were talking? I came here last night, so we did a little talking. You said that COVID didn't affect you as much as 2 years ago when you had the golden algae bloom.
Yeah, the COVID, when people ask me like, oh, damn, did COVID affect you? Like, well, yeah, there was a few people that were scheduled to come out that were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't. But no, my real COVID was 2 years ago when that golden algae hit. That was like recalibration of life. And what are you doing? What am I going to do? Should I just stop this and go to something else? Or, but then again, it was kind of like, well, wait a minute. This is Manny Chee outdoors, not Manny Chee swim bait only. Yes. This is the only thing I know how to do. Like, I know how to do other things. So it's just time to, focus on those other things more and find other avenues like the striper fishing and kind of just, there's enough here where I can do other things. And bird hunting. And it gave me time for like big game hunting and bird hunting myself. Like, it's kind of nice because I was really busy. I was like almost too busy when I look back at the schedule and not leaving enough time for like other parts of life.
And for
sure.
It's
kind of nice to like, if I could find a little medium in between, being overly busy and kind of just having enough trips to, make it all have work and happen and have enough time to also like enjoy this, enjoy life.
And this is what would question from me to you that I would really want to know is, since you were known at the time as a big bait guide a little more.
Yeah. That's what got me out there.
And how do
wasn't anything else.
Exactly. How do you change people's minds? You know what I'm saying? So if I come and I'm like, I'm here to fucking throw some depths 250s. Yeah. And you're like, dude, it's not going to work. How do you change their mind and be like,
well, I didn't try to.
Okay.
So I didn't try to change people's mind on it. Just one thing for me guiding, like when I started my own guide service, one of the things that I wanted to change from how I saw other people run them was I wanted to be very clear and have always been very clear about expectations, whether it's in the hunting or the fishing. Expectations. Like, what can you truly, this is what I have to offer. This is what historically has happened every time we go out or whatever. And so that's my product. Like, that's what I can offer. And there's other facets of it that have always been there, like a nice boat, top end gear, low down custom rods, the full selection of them. Like, oh, you're thinking about getting an extra heavy. Well, here's an extra heavy that you can cast. Oh, you've been seeing this bait or that bait. Well, here's the slide swimmer on that extra heavy. Oh, different reels, Oh, yeah. Well, here's multiple reels. Like we were talking about last night, I don't, I've never really pursued getting a reel company to be like my one reel company because I've always seen that like this company makes, Daiwa makes this really cool, low profile, fast speed reel, but they don't make like the slow round, 400 size reel that like the Conquest is. So I always wanted to, have the cool stuff, the latest stuff on my boat and kind of, if the fishing doesn't work, at least it's kind of like a demo day, like I know the fun from like bikes and skiing and snowboards. Like demo days are cool. There's stuff that maybe you couldn't afford or maybe you're thinking of buying, but you don't want to just go make a blind purchase. Like you can come on my boat and actually use that stuff firsthand. And sure, it might not, end up with an 8-pounder like it used to all the time and on my boat, but at least like you were getting the idea. I've sold a lot of people have gotten on the Humminbird electronics from being on my boat. Like there's been a lot of sales that come out of just being on my boat and seeing that stuff, using it firsthand. So I was always very clear about the expectations and at least like we're going to go out and I'm going to show you how I break down a ledge, a shoreline, a point, a rock wall. Like, you're going to get this swim bait tech course in what to do, because the other side of all of this is that it's been proven time and time again through Instagram pictures, through just everything that like guys come out here, they learn something that they weren't kind of quite catching on in their waters, or maybe they hadn't heard that perspective of it from somebody else. And they go back to their waters and then they start slamming fish. Like it is a true training course. You get to hang out here in the house. We have fun. We, enjoy our time out there and learn something that you can definitely take back. And so that was what I always told people. Like, hey, look, this is what's going on fishing wise, right? This is the problem that is being presented with the fish. Mm-hmm. But this is what I offer and this is what you can learn from. And as long as we're both going on that same page, then they know like, oh, hey, I understand. Right now your fishing's not in a great cycle, but I'm going to have a fun time, or the scenery is going to be beautiful. The gear is going to be on point. Like I'm going to learn something that you're doing that I've seen. Hey, I've noticed that like, not only does it work for you, it works for everybody that comes out here and goes back home, all of a sudden is on some other shit. Right. So it's like, that was always my,
selling point.
That's been my selling point lately, that it's like a
learning
experience, like a training thing. the fishing may come back and may never. I'm sure it will.
But I think that it's a cool plug too as well. Like Ben's a buddy of yours, and
we've become real good friends. Yeah,
and it'd be cool. Like if people are listening to this, a lot of people want to try those rods out. I got to try one. I love it. It was cool. I want to get one. Maybe if people are listening and like, man, I really want to try it on a load, they can come check out what you have. Yeah. You probably have one of every one pretty much that you need. Two. There you go. You know what I'm saying? But it's a
exactly
like you said with the demo day. That's a great experience to say as a guide. And I like that you didn't lock down to one reel. That's like a whole different. Yeah. Because you can't do it all with one company.
Unfortunately not. I still haven't seen one company that, we're getting close. Like Shimano now has a lot of offerings and they're definitely starting to make reels for what we need and what we do. But definitely in the earlier days, I don't want to say earlier days, but just a few years ago, it was like you had to grab from here and this from that and an Abu and this certain thing and the Daiwa and the Shimano. And so it was, I always wanted to keep that open. But I always felt that with the Lowdown custom rods, I didn't need anything else. Like that was everything I needed as far as swim baits were concerned. So I didn't. Yeah. And people might ask me like, hey, what's a rod that I should get into? Blah, blah, blah. I don't shop rods. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, this is what I use.
I don't need to. Yeah.
Well, how did you guys meet, you and Ben?
We met on Facebook. Facebook dating. No, I'm just kidding.
Was it Grindr?
We matched on that. No, when I first started the guide service and I was convinced, I got talked into like having a website and putting videos on that website. The guy that I was talking to at the time that helped me with that, he was like, you need to like show who like your personality, because we rode bikes, in the same crew, the downhill bikes and all that. I think
you talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I was like always like big hype man there, and he was like, show who you are. And so I made like a couple videos for. It was more than a couple, but I made some videos for that website. Like this is the fly thing, this is the swim bait thing, this is the carp thing. The swim bait one was the one that like got a lot of attention, and Ben was one of those that Lowdown Custom was the only one that shared it early on, and I reached out to him because at that time I still didn't really have like a rod company. I knew that was something that I did want to have, like a rod company that I used. There wasn't even enough to be like, oh well, I need this one from them and this from that. So I reached out to him and was just like, hey Ben, your products seem really cool, and I kind of like where that company is aligned, and I've never had one, I've never seen one, but I can tell they look really nice. And do you do like a guide program, like for industry kind of program? Mm-hmm. And he was kind of like, well, I've never done that before, but he was like, I'm kind of a fan of your stuff. Like, I like your excitement of it, and I like what you're doing. And why don't we let's talk about what it can start off as. And from there, now we're best friends now. Now he comes out bird hunting with me and stuff.
Yeah,
he's coming in on Monday again. Yeah.
We talked and he's been going hard on it, huh?
Yeah. It's always new to, it's always fun to find something new in life to try to master.
Just like swim bait fishing, right? Same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So your PB is what? 10?
Just 10s. Okay. Yeah, they're in the 10 range. I don't really remember all the, 10 point.
Yep.
But like I said, I thought, if it was 15 and, 15 and 10 ounces, then I'd be like, oh yeah, 15 and 10 ounces. It's right here tattooed on my arm, But yeah, I've blown all my chances. I've had bigger fish that have eaten and seen them, I've seen it happen at the boat, and they've always kicked my ass. So when I finally felt like, okay, now I know what to do in that situation, well, now I don't get that chance.
Yeah.
So they're all just 10s.
Yeah. Do you feel like when you go out, are you looking for a double digit? Or are you just kind of like, I'm fine catching?
Well, like I felt like my goal, like when I go out, just like me and my dog or whatever, mm-hmm. It's kind of like a scouting trip, right? For what am I going to do on the next guide trip? What can I find for that next guide trip? And I guess it's never in our waters. Like, I don't think we have a huge population of teeners where it's a whole separate fish that you need to target from the 8 to 10 pounders. I was always targeting those 8 to 10s, mm-hmm. right? And a bycatch of them is like 6s and 7s, 5s and 6s. And So I feel like I was targeting those 8s and 10s. Those were like bread and butter for me. If I can get clients on those, that's great. So I don't necessarily feel that chasing the teeners out here is so different from chasing those fish that it would totally change what I'm doing. I'm still throwing the same baits. They eat those baits. You know, it's not that like teeners don't eat those baits. Mm-hmm. So I do feel, and definitely there was the excitement, you know, in the early years that like, and still like those baits that we're using, the techniques that we're doing, the way we're fishing them, it still can attract the largest fish in that lake.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess that's,
so
you know, am I targeting only a teener? No, but am I only targeting an 8-pounder? No, you know, it's that.
Are you going out then to fish to like fun fish? It's almost a pre-fishing for a guided trip.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's a little different.
Yeah.
Do you ever just go out and fun fish? Or do you feel like you have to always
I feel like it's always, I don't even have that word. I don't use that word, fun fish versus work fish versus
it's all fun
like,
to you.
Yeah, it's just all fishing. So I don't know. Like, that word doesn't really exist to me.
But does it change your train of thought?
I'm always, I guess, if fun fishing means like the difference between maybe knowing that like, okay, I know I can go to these certain ledges and catch them right now, but let me go try to explore something else, then yeah, like there's definitely times like if I know like that's doing really good and maybe I don't even want to bang on that and keep it for my client coming, then like, yeah, let me go see if they're also doing this other thing over here or if this other thing works. So yeah, I guess if fun fishing means that, then yeah, but I don't even know what the hell that means.
But it's weird now.
I get it if you fish tournaments, you know.
But your train of thought is almost like you have a business and you have to keep it almost 24/7 because you're yourself. You can't change like. You're not going to be a different Manny last night when I came over to now.
Yeah.
It's like we're the same. It's the same conversation. So when you go out fishing, you're like, say if I was just going to go have fun and you talk about electronics and looking for stripers and dropping spoons, I'd be doing that all day just for fun. Yeah. But when you go out, you got to think, well, I just want to go fish, but I got to make sure I have a plan of attack for my clients because I need to provide something because it's my business.
Right.
Do you think that takes away from your thought though? Like, where you'd be like, if I didn't have this business, what would you be doing? Say you had another job, would you still be fishing the same exact way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you still have, that's what the cool thing is. It's how real it is like,
right.
It's the same thing. It's no different.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like talking to a guy you see on the internet.
Right.
And it's the same guy when you meet him in person.
Or there's still times when it's like, okay, let's say like, Manny Chee is supposedly somebody in the swim bait world. Yeah, I don't believe it, but people say that shit. Let's say Manny Chee is somebody in the swim bait world. So Manny Chee needs to keep posting things about swim baits. Well, if that shit's not working, then Manny Chee's going and catching stripers on those big spoons. Like I just want to go have fun. So I guess it is fun fishing, right? Okay. Like, yeah, because like, and I'll be like, dude, really? You want to go grind out for 2 days and do that? Like, it's not gonna work. Well, why don't we go to Lake Pleasant and catch these stripers instead? So
that's what I'm saying. So yeah, like this swim bait thing too, that takes it back to that where you say you got to keep posting these pictures or doing something on social media, which
I don't feel that.
You don't do it. You don't do it. I think that's cool. That. Like you do it. You do everything. You'll be like, I'm gonna fly fish today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do.
Or like say this year. Yeah. Like this year we're having a stellar quail year. Or it's actually not stellar. It's just considered good by the experts, like good populations. But we haven't had a good year in like 10, 15 years. So it's a really good year for us. So I'm like, well, let's go quail. Like, let's take advantage of this, right? Like it all comes in cycles. So let's take advantage of that cycle that's happening right now because next year it might not be like that. So yeah, I like the outdoors and it has many facets to it. And whichever one is the one that's the most fun is where I gravitate to. So maybe I'm constantly fun fishing, and I just realized,
everything. Yeah, just fun all the time.
Fun fishing, fun hunting, fun.
Are you you turned people on, a lot of people onto hunting? I'm sure buddies too as well.
Yes,
right? Bird hunting.
Yeah.
Are you planning on maybe? You don't guide that right now, right? Do you?
I don't technically, but I've taken clients that are usually fishing clients, and we come over and we go hunting and stuff. But I definitely, I think it's something I want to move into. Yeah, like at least start with like local bird hunting.
Yeah,
because it's one of those things that like, I see a lot of people are getting into it in California. There's less opportunities over there to do it. Where here, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of public land. Let's go do it here.
So are you going to get like a license for next year to actually bird hunt?
Yeah, I think so.
There's different. I don't know anything about fucking hunting. So so when you bird hunt, I seen a lot of dudes that like I had Riego come on. He got into
he's
it.
Been into it.
Ben, Chris, these guys are all getting into it. A lot of other dudes I know too.
Mm-hmm. Or back into it. You know, some of us like have been doing it all our lives, and it's kind of again just like, oh, this shit's cool again.
But there's different types of bird you're hunting, like waterfowl, and then there's So
just like in fishing, there's the guy that fishes with a bobber, and there's the guy that fishes with a thorn bait, and there's the fly fisherman, and there's the So there's all kinds of facets to it. There's upland hunting, there's dove hunting, there's there's the big game side of things. There's it's
big game for a bird like turkeys and stuff.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of, that one's more. I don't see like turkeys. I don't see that kind of hunting like how upland, like walking along, a big mountain area or something. It's more like real specific, and you're targeting a certain one, and it's different. Yeah. And you shoot one.
Are they easy to kill, turkeys?
No.
Really?
Definitely not like in the spring when they're like mating. No, hell no. It's not easy at all. No, they're very astute birds, and it's really early in the morning, like rising. And again, it's one of those things where in Arizona, it's not the typical one that you see on like TV where they're just out there in the middle of the day and crack, 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 crack. Oh, there's some calling over there. There's some calling over. Oh, here they come. And, wait till they come to the ecoys. Crack, 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 crack. And okay, now shoot them. Like, no, of course, in Arizona, those fuckers don't talk. They know better. They don't call back. Like, you have to find them, and have to be like, you got one shot little window, like a half-hour window at the butt crack of dawn, where like you've already been. I don't want to give up too much, but like,
I get what you're
it's saying. Hard. It's a much different. It's much different than just let's go. We're gonna walk, and we know that these quail are somewhere in this zone. We're gonna walk it and find them and flush them and shoot them. And the turkey thing is more, it's one out here. It's a tag for one, so you're after one, and it has to be a certain size. Like they have to have a certain, this certain
gobbler.
What the heck is? I can't remember the name right now, but this like plumage thing, and it has to be like of a certain age.
Yeah.
So you can't just shoot like a hen. You have to shoot a male one, and that one's more like a big game hunt. But my buddy Lee Hamlin in the mountains like showed me how to do it, and it's like, oh dude, this is awesome.
Yeah,
there's really cool stuff to it.
Yeah,
it's badass. Yeah.
And I forgot to mention something on the previous pod. You went to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I've been to Zimbabwe.
How's that?
That was a trip of a lifetime. I still remember just being in the back of that Land Cruiser or the truck, whatever Toyota truck they had. And just like looking up as it was getting dark, and we're no longer hunting, driving back, and just looking at the stars. The constellations are different. It seemed like the moon was a different side of it. Like these different trees.
Like you were in Wakanda?
I just like, man, like remember this. Like remember this memory, man, because like this is really neat.
What did you guys hunt over there?
Everything. I think there was like 13 or so different species of plains games. Wow. 3 of the dangerous game stuff. Like eland, kudu, bushbuck, steambuck, warthog, wildebeest, zebra.
Did you eat any
kudu,
all of them?
Most of them, yeah. They were amazing.
Zebra?
I didn't eat the zebra.
No.
Yeah, we didn't eat the zebra. But from what I remember, the kudu was amazing.
What the hell is a kudu?
And a kudu is a spiral horn of the antelope family.
Yeah.
And that one I liked a lot because I felt like that style of hunting was real similar to our mule deer type of hunting. And they kind of act very similar. The bigger ones are like alone or with one other male. And so that one, like really, I related to that one a lot. And then the Cape Buffalo also was one of the most delicious ones.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And that one was really cool. But mine was pretty uneventful compared to some other Cape Buffalo hunts, you know, I'd always heard like they don't die easily. They soak up bullets, this and that. But at that time, I was in my like mid to late 20s. I'm 43 now, and I was in my mid to late 20s, and you know, your eyes are different. I was shooting a lot at the time. Like I was on point. My shooting was on point. Luckily, right? Because like you don't want to be missing and you're like, oh, whoops, I don't know. Like I was on point. So like we had this Cape Buffalo in the morning. He was with another one. He was big, and like the younger one caught something of us and was giving us the stare down while the other one didn't know. And we had to like wait until he kind of moved out of the way to make the shot safe. And like I shot it, put it right where it needed to go, and just that was it. You hear like everything out there gives a death bellow, which is very different from like hunting in North America. Everything out there kind of, you know, they're all tougher, and they when they finally go down, they like.
That's crazy.
And I heard that like, and that was it. And it was just like,
they're like, wow.
Isn't it supposed to get back up and like charge us and freaking want to kill me? And like, you know, I thought it was going to be like heart pumping, and you hear all these stories, and it is true. But yeah, no, I put it right where it needed to go. And that one just one shot went down with the 416 Rigby.
Wow.
Big rifle. So that's like the other side of it too, is that you're getting to shoot these big bore rifles, which are a whole other, you know, a whole other discipline of it all. And it was awesome. It was, big hit, and you hear this, and then we had to wait for that. You know, the other one was like, "What did you just do to this one?" And I'm like, "Oh shit! Like, be ready. He might come at us too." Yeah. And he just ended up walking away, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you keep?
And then it was really cool. Oh yeah, it was really cool because so that happens, and then like, you know, we let it all calm down, this and that. About a half hour later, we start walking to the animal. Wow, take pictures, this and that. And then we start seeing, like, off in the distance, there's this, like, little, a bunch of people walking. And they're all in a line, and they all have, like, these axes on their back. And they were, like, native Africans. And, like, I see them walking down this ridge. I'm like, who are those guys? And over there in that part of northern Zimbabwe we were hunting, it was a campfire area. And that campfire, I think it started with a K, but it had a... You know, it meant something. It's what do they call that? A anagram, or I forgot what it's called. Where like every letter means a word.
Yeah.
And it was set up so that like when you hunt in that area, it's a wilderness area. Like one of the things that when my dad was setting it up, we didn't want to go shoot in a high fence ranch. Like we wanted to make sure that the animals that we were hunting were free range in the wilderness areas of Africa. Because there's a lot of different setups out there. You can go and you can hunt things in a large, you know, it still may be a large ranch, but there's a cage. Or, you know, the ugly side of it is the lion in a small cage, right? Yes. Where it's just some guy that wants to go shoot a lion. And like they shoot one that's like basically been pen raised and it's in a cage. Like we definitely didn't want to be involved in anything of that sort. So we were in this campfire area, and the setup there is that like half of the meat, or part of, I forgot what, you know, percentage, but the meat is also going to be shared with the local tribe people, because they were like in the little huts and like thatch homes. Dude. And like living like it was a blast from the past, you know, like they haven't changed the way they're living in that part. But they hear that shot and they're like, oh, dinner bell, here we go. So they come and then they help you take the, you know, butcher the animal. Dude. And the guy was explaining to me like, yeah, out here, every man has a hatchet, like an axe. Like, you're not a real man if you don't have your axe with you at all times. So they all had their like axes, and you know, very like rudimentary axes, and they were
chop away at it.
And one of the things that's funny is like my dad always likes to, you know, tell people when they ask like, oh, do you eat this? Well, we eat everything. We eat everything. We eat everything except the hooves. And like, you know, really the heart, liver, like, you know, the nuts. My dad's big thing is to eat the Rocky Mountain oysters. I'm just like, oh God.
Do you eat them?
I tried them like years ago. It's not like something that I have in my fridge at all times though, for sure. I hear they're good. I mean, I don't really remember. There's nothing wrong with it, but my dad always jokes that like, we eat everything except the hooves. And he was like, oh really? Well, come here, Manny. Because my dad's name is also Manuel. Manny, come here. Let me show you something. And he's like, see that pot right there? There's a hoof. And it's like, oh shit, they're boiling the hoof of the Cape buffalo. He's like, yeah, they boil it down. It removes the nail part of it, and underneath that is like a gelatinous material, which is actually where like Jello has that. That's the gelatin of Jello. And yeah. So,
did you eat it?
No, we didn't. It wasn't done by the time. I'm like, no, okay, cool. That's awesome. Have fun. But yeah, they were like, here we eat the hooves too. So they got us beat. They got us Mexicans beat.
Did you see any like crazy like lions or anything like that?
I didn't see lions. We heard them at night. I didn't see hyenas. I heard them at night. That was like some of the few things that we didn't see. Lions, hyenas. I didn't see a wild dog. Like there was no wild dogs in that area. But other than that, yeah, pretty much everything else. Elephants, that
must have been crazy.
My experience with elephants, like when so we're driving out the first morning to the buffalo, and we're driving out to that area from the camp, and like in the road, like this was a pretty forested area, not it's not like plains, like how I kind of imagine, like, oh, I'm going Cape buffalo hunting, and what I always saw on TV was like these open plains. No, this was like kind of in like rolling mountains. Again, it was kind of more like coos deer hunting to me than anything else, because you're looking for these small groups, not the big in migration, hundreds of buffalo all like doing their thing. No, these are like, they call them daga boys, which means like mud boys, because they're like rolling around the mud. So you're looking for these small groups or singles of these big, big bulls and or big bison, buffalo, and so we're driving out to that, and all of a sudden, this little elephant, little baby guy, like crosses the road, and I'm all, like probably how most people think, like, oh, this is like a zoo, like, hey, there goes a little elephant, how cute, wow. And then behind it comes the mother, and it's this monstrous, towering, prehistoric animal, that comes out, and the way it works is you have your professional hunter, which is usually like a white guy or a German, descent or Afrikaner or whatever. And then he has trackers with him. And in that campfire area, you also have somebody that's there from the government that's actually there like looking for the poachers. So he has like an AK on him. And he's there to make sure you're not doing any shady shit too.
Yeah.
But it's us three in the back of this Land Rover car, and my dad and the PH in the front. And I see the female, and I'm just like, oh, wow, look at that, the elephant. And I can tell they are not like in that same idea. They are like, go. They're like nervous, right? And they're like getting like, I could tell they're, oh, what's going on here? Like, why are you guys scared? It's a beautiful elephant, right?
Yeah.
Well, that thing like stopped in the middle of the road. They get more nervous, and then it turns and it does like, it like moves its ears, flaps its ears, and like postures and lets out this fucking and all of a sudden, like you may think that living in cities we don't know anymore, and going to zoos we're like retards on how the reality of real life really works in Africa. And we think like, oh, this, elephants don't do anything. They're just out there doing their thing. No, dude, they're very like dynamic animals.
Yeah.
And that freaking bellow, like it let off that whatever the hell sound they call like an elephant's sound. And it's a feeling that goes into your nuts, your heart, your liver, your kidneys. I don't even know where my spleen is, but I felt that shit like almost erupt like inside of me.
Yeah.
There's an ancient fear and like an ancient reminder when you hear that, like, oh shit, I'm a human. I'm not on the top of the food chain out here. And like, even though I have this rifle, what the hell is it going to do to this monster of an animal? And I'm like shaking inside.
Yeah.
It made me turn into this like, I shrunk down into a little peanut, man. Oh shit. Like, this is why they're so nervous. And, and reverse we go.
Did
and
it
that's
charge?
That's where they broke down the idea that like, when they do the ear flapping, the trumpeting, that's when they trumpet, when they stomp, that's letting you know, like, I don't like you here. Get the fuck out of here, or we're gonna have problems.
Yeah.
And they told us like, if they throw those ears back, and they put the trunk like down in between the trunk goes down and the ears go back. Like that body language is telling you like, I'm not stopping until you're torn and smushed and like destroyed in pieces. Like they literally will put their boom, stomp on half of you, wrap you with that trunk, the other half, and rip you apart. Is that
what they told you, the guides?
Yeah, they rip you, they stomp you, they get down like on their front elbows and like put you in the trunk and in the tusks area, and they'll just like bulldozer you into the ground. Just like smear you in until you're just.
So it's happened multiple times.
Oh, it happens all the time. Like people die like this every day in Africa. Yeah, the local people and things like the people that live in there. Yes, it's not just the hunters that deserve it or blah blah blah. Like it's the people that live there, the people that have to live there and farm there, and like the people that make a living in the outdoors there. Yes, it happens all the time.
Damn,
so like,
scary.
It was.
It's like you might not get shot.
It was like, oh shit, just got really real. And yeah, a lot of these animals, like when we got back, we'd catch heat from people like, why would you shoot a zebra? It doesn't do anything. Why would you shoot this? When was this?
10 years ago?
No, it was more than 10.
So this isn't when that whole shit happened in Newport where
this is before social media and before Facebook.
No, this might have been before the dentist line hunting.
This is before that. Yeah, because there was already like on Facebook. This was before Facebook. Wow. I don't think there was social media at all yet. And I mean, there was hardly even digital cameras. That's the other like bad side of it. Like I don't have digital pictures of all that stuff.
It's I have regular.
we have regular film of it. So it was right at right before things went to digital. So there was no we didn't catch heat like that, but just people around my circle and things. And it really made me realize like, wow, there's a huge disconnect where you think that because you've seen them in a zoo, a caged animal that's depressed, that's like not able to run around, that's not able to be a real animal, and the way that he acts, you think that that's the way this real animal acts in its natural habitat in Africa. And it was like, wow, there's a huge disconnect of that. When people hunt certain things, other people automatically put that into perspective. I'm like, why would you? They're just out there eating off they're just out there eating hay. Like, no, this isn't on a farm. This isn't on a zoo.
This is real life.
Or the other one, like, is that legal? Like, you really think I flew to Africa, got off the plane, just grabbed my gun? Like, that's there's no paperwork involved there, right? I just grabbed my gun and like went to a hotel with my dad and then just decided like, hey, look at those mountains over there. Let's go see if there's some shit to shoot over here. Okay, let's just go. Like, no, it's a whole setup. Like, welcome to the real world, right? Like, that's not how it works. And it just all goes back also to the idea that like hunting these animals, one gets sacrificed every once in a while to further the benefit of that whole ecosystem.
Yes.
Not just that animal.
And the people there probably get money. The guide,
the campfire setup, the guides, the tracker, yes. And like there's money and investment now going to protect that whole ecosystem, to keep it wild, because a lot of us want it to be a wild experience. We don't want it to be a caged experience that we're just there for the hide of a lion.
Is that like fishing a private pond?
Yeah. It'd be like the equivalent of fishing a private pond and being like, look at me, I'm a hero because I fish this private pond,
or
this little 1 acre pond.
Yeah, or fishing someone. Okay. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the hunting would be like.
Yeah, it would be the equivalent of that. Or it'd be the equivalent of like going to Mexico to Baccarat and fishing for bat. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm just joking. I was like, that's all fun. I would do it too.
But that's
definitely like a controversy that's around right now, right?
But would you claim your PB from there if you caught it?
Hell yeah, I probably would. It's still a big bass that I caught. Like,
because someone, I forgot his name.
But maybe it'd have a little asterisk. So like, but it was in Mexico. So like, I had a giant fish that I caught in Mexico also.
How big?
It was when I was a kid, and I don't know if we talked about this last time, but my buddy George, who I'm still friends with out here, we, our parents were friends. We went to Mexicali, Mexico, which is where my father's from, and over there they had a canal type system. But they weren't like here where they're lined with concrete. They were more like a naturally dug canal, and they're lined with like tules. And they knew that, oh yeah, Manny's got that fishing passion thing that he fucking likes doing and this and that.
And
like,
how old were you then?
I had to be like around 10 to 13 in that range somewhere. And so they lined us up with this friend of theirs that like were into fishing, and they had an aluminum boat, I remember, and they were into pouring their own like huge lizards, soft lizard, plastic lizards. They were into pouring their own. They had these huge ones that I'd never seen. Like, whoa, what the heck is that? But they were into flipping. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. At that time, we used to flip a lot at Lake Pleasant here before they increased the size of the lake. And so I was familiar with it. I was trained in it. Like, yeah, I got a flipping rod and a flipping setup. Like, cool, let's do it. And that's where I also first saw like a rat swimming in the water. I'm like, ugh, gross. What the fuck is that thing? And it was like, dude, the bass eat those.
They told you that.
Yeah, they were like, the bass eat those. Like, they chase them. We've seen it eaten, and we've seen them throw them up and shit like that. Like, they eat those. So that for me was already like that swim bait idea was already getting molded like early on, where it's like, oh no, they don't eat things that big. They slurp things. But we were pitching or flipping. This is before even pitching was around. We were flipping them, and I remember hooking into this giant, and my buddy George has this memory also, which is why I don't think that I'm just like, building it up in my head. We both remember that we had, back then there was like one size of Igloo or Coleman ice chest, and it was like red or blue. It was one size of it. And this fish, we both remember they couldn't close the lid because the snout was hanging out on one side and it folded down into the ice chest, and on the other side, the tail was still hanging out. So like if you tried to close the lid, it was too long. God. For it to be that long, that's way over 28 inches. Like it was enormously long.
What size of line were you using?
I imagine at that time it was like early braid with the flipping. It's kind of our braids, our flipping setup was like a braid. It was an Abu Garcia Ambassador that I used to use for it. And it was I think it was actually a Phoenix rod.
No way.
Phoenix or Fenwick, maybe? No, I think it was like an early Phoenix one. It had like a carbon fiber rear, grip to it, which was like super innovative at the time. It was telescopic a little.
Oh, cool.
It was one of those that like you telescope, and their first guide would be way long out here, because in the flipping technique, you grab that line from back here, and and the whole thing of it was to like swing it in, which is kind of like the principles of pitching, but you weren't like getting it out far. You were it's close quarters combat. Like right here is where you're fishing for those fish, and you're slipping it into these little pockets. And the thing that you were trying to do was to get that bait to most quietly like break the water, not splash into the water, because then it would spook those fish, was the idea. So you'd quietly sweep it into the water. And I just remember, and you'd pick it and pull it back up, pick it, and you kind of worked with one amount of line, right? You didn't have to like every time recast and reel it in. It was kind of like you were effectively working with this triangle of your line every time. But yeah, that had to be like my PB.
Probably like 15.
It had to be 16. A teener.
Did you eat it?
It got turned into ceviche. It's good. I remember it hanging out at the Ramada that overlooked this canal thing, and like them just fucking chopping it up with all the.
Were you catch and release then, or did you not care as much because you were little?
So then it was a time when, I don't think we were quite catch and releasing yet, and even here, like when we would go out with my dad's buddy Mark Edelman, who taught me how to fish really. I do remember our pictures from that were like, you stand over there with the stringer and I'm going to stand over here. Man, you get in the middle because it's too heavy, like long. And, they'd all be like these little 2-3 pound clones. But yeah, it was like stringer pictures. Like back then you ate all the fish. And, it was cool to see that culture come around as I got older. It turned into the catch and release thing. And now like it's the norm out here. We don't really deal too much with guys coming to our lakes and taking our fish being like an issue. Yeah.
But I'm sure it still happens. I'm sure back east, like Oliver's on is like people eat fish everywhere. Dude.
Sure. Yeah. And they're legal to do it here, unless there's, in the fly fishing world, there's some spots that are fly only, catch and release only, single barbless hooks. And, that's all great. No, but, back then it was, it was pretty much all catch and eat.
It's crazy though. We talked about last night. You said it's okay to keep the trout. But it's not okay to keep
how
a
like
large amount.
Socially,
right?
I
agree.
Yeah,
like,
and you see it in like these online groups and Facebook groups and stuff. These heated arguments that go on because one guy ate a 2-3 pound largemouth bass and everybody's jumping on him and he's the enemy of the world. And the hypocrisy of that, then those same people are like washing it up for some other dude that went and killed like this big brown trout that's like a monarch in a small creek out here. Like, God, the chances of it getting to that size for you to just come with your night crawler, catch them, and then like, oh, hell yeah, dude, I love eating trout. You put it with, salt and pepper and lemons and blah, blah, blah. Oh, dude, I like the fucking blah, blah, blah. And it's like nobody, not only they not give a shit, but they like promote, it's like, that's perfectly fine. Okay, we love it.
Why do you think that, though? Why is it okay?
Because people are stupid.
But there's got to be something else to stupid. It, though. Like, like a largemouth is more of a sport fish.
Yeah, because it's tournaments. Money's on the line, bro. It's my money.
True.
Like, shut up,
I
dude.
guess you're right.
It's freaking dumb.
Because it's like trout, you don't really have trout tournaments.
Right. There's no trout tournaments. And those people aren't really into trout fishing. They just know that, at this certain time, it's easy to go catch them this way. So they go and they like rape them and then like, no problem. That's cool. So yeah, that was always like.
That is a weird thing.
There's so many hypocrisies in outdoors stuff, where
like,
it's.
Here's another one. And I think Charles asked this to Tuna. Why do fly fishermen hate every other fisherman? I think they're better than every other fisherman.
But like I said, it's in every, I do a lot of these outdoor activities and I like all of them.
Uh-huh.
I like it all. Fishing with swim baits, fishing with I haven't reached for a crankbait in a while, but let's just say a popper or something. Or, I have spinning rods with little cast masters that I use to like, oh, okay, that was down there on the graph. Cool.
Yeah.
I like it all. Fly fishing, this, that, spear fishing, rifle hunting, archery hunting, air gun hunting.
Yeah.
And, in every one of those, there's this elitist bullshit that goes on where somebody now all of a sudden thinks they're greater than thou because they're doing it on this other way. And it's so prevalent in the fly fishing. Again, I take all these kind of people out, right? And sometimes I have to hear these things that are just, these guys think they're better than everybody else. Everybody else, knuckle draggers and, gear. Oh, they were throwing gear. Like, what
is that what
the
you
fuck
call
are you talking
gear?
about gear?
Like steroids,
spinning
bro.
gear?
Like
that was caught on gear. So they all have like their little, terminology ways that they cut down the other ones because I'm greater than you.
You're
because,
a bed fisher.
Yeah, that one is like, that one's true. You fucking bed fisherman, snagger and shit. Like,
whoa.
But even in the air rifles, right? There's a shop here, really good shop, Air Guns of Arizona, that like they have these high end air guns, and they also have some of the beginner ones. Mm-hmm. But you walk in there, and it's, oh yeah, guys were out with their powder burners, and I'm like, wait, what? Powder burners?
Like fucking the old
so
days.
That's
hey,
like
the Revenant.
That's the That's the cut down to a guy that goes out and hunts something with a rifle, a center fire rifle, because there's powder that burns in there to make the to make it go out. They're powder burners. We're air buttholes. Like, what do you call yourself? Like, oh, we're better because we're doing it with air.
Chris
powder burners.
Chris Purcell's an air butthole.
Air is an air butthole too now. Yeah, we got him into it. But I love them all, right? And but I don't play into that like I'm greater than you because I did it this way, or like say in the archery world. In the archery world, they get into this thing too, where it's like now they want to do it, but they want to do it all with my bow, and that was with a rifle, so it it didn't count. Like it's like fishing in baccarat, like, it's like again, and yeah, they want to do it all with the bow, but then there's this hypocrisy that like, oh, I got this little buck, but it was with a bow. So that I'm doing something greater than your big buck that you shot with your rifle. That was whatever. It was with a rifle. I did this with my bow. I did this with my fly rod. They're like, say this summer, I got really into this BFS thing that's coming around now. So with the hookup, down there with Ben Kohler at the hookup, he like started posting all these like videos of these little baits. Little jerk baits, little glide baits from like gang crab, depths. There's all these like little miniaturized things.
Swim baits. It's like mini
swim baits.
Okay.
and little jerk baits that are getting designed in Japan for guys who are taking these trout in a style of like bass fishing. So it's smaller reels, but they're still bait casters. These little cool rods, all this like gear that's like all miniaturized for doing this with trout. And I was like, wow, that seems awesome. And I know it would work here. Like if you get into more remote areas, we do have big brown trout.
Yeah.
They're not the 20 pounders of other places.
Yeah.
And they're not super prevalent like they are in other states. But there's enough to where like that was badass. And so I started doing that, and I would post pictures of them. And even there, I get, some follower that, come on, Manny, I know you got a fly rod, dude. Do it with the flies. Like, I don't fucking want to. Why does it matter? I understand it, though, because when you're first getting into something new like that, where it's like, hey, I'm going to focus on trying to do it in this, maybe it's a harder way at first for you, right? Maybe there's a little more of a learning curve, right? In fly fishing, like, yeah, it's harder to cast, right? It's going to take you longer to be proficient 100%. And really cast, which few of those fly anglers can. Really learn how to cast a whole fly line, double haul, and really manipulate that line to where it's no big deal. Like, oh, you want me to put it there? Yeah, open your mouth. Boom. Like, I've been doing it long enough, put in enough hours where it's not a challenge for me. It's just another style of casting. But, for these people, it is a challenge, and they're still like building up to that. So like, yeah, if you like say that to me, it's like, well, I get it, bro. For you, that's a challenge. For me, it's not. So I don't care. I'm just out here doing something new, exciting, accessing actually a larger size of fish than I usually do with my flies. But yeah, it's in every category of outdoors, there's this elitist bullshit that, I do it this way, which is greater than you. And
you feel like even swim bait, same thing?
Oh, yeah. The swim bait guys, we all try to act like we're doing something better than the guy that's out there with the drop shot. Oh, he's just throwing a drop shot. And certain times of the year, it's like, oh, well, yeah, he caught all those, he caught 30 pounds because he's using a drop shot. And what did you catch? Caught a 4-pounder, right? Like, so then who's cool here? Like, who's actually doing it?
Well, it's cool. I think when you say stuff like this, people, like you say, you have a following for being a swim bait guy. I like hearing what the swim bait guy's outlook is on it, because maybe it'll open some other people's eyes and go, you know what? I'm not going to go straight to the swim bait and throw it. And I'm sure we beat the shit out of this topic on multiple podcasts, but I feel like it's good to hear you say, there's different ways to go about things sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to say it.
Yeah. They even make sayings. There's different ways to skin a cat.
There you go.
So like, yeah, there's different ways. They're all enjoyable. And if it's you having a good time and it makes your hair stand up, fucking do it, you know? But definitely don't think that you're doing something that's holier than some other guy. Like, we're all out there on the lake, right? Yeah. We should all like the same thing. Like, we're all out in the field doing hunting or doing fishing or whatever. Like, look at the bigger picture of it instead of like, for some reason, a lot of us like to compartmentalize myself into like, well, there's all these turds, but I do it this way, or I only use this. And so when purists, I guess. Yeah. Even in the fly fishing world, there's the purists that are like, I don't do those styles of fly fishing. I only fish dry flies.
Yeah, that's what
I'm only going to fish them if they're on the surface. Oh, okay. So do you want to let's tie a dropper on there so you get, no, I don't fish 2 hooks, only 1. And even in the fly fishing, I don't fish warm water.
What does that mean?
You know what warm water is?
No.
Warm water? Okay. Warm water is when you're not in the mountains in the crystal clear, cold waters of the moving mountains and the rivers. There's you guys that fish those lakes for bass and carp in the warm, I don't know what the is there a degree here that like, is this technically warm water or cold? Yes. Am I cool or am I not cool? Yeah. Like, am I doing something that's approved by you because it's 56 degrees, or if it was 57, is that like shitty now? That's the warm water. Like, yeah.
You get to see it all because
I see it all. Yeah, because I do it all. Right, I do it all, and I do it all pretty damn good. Like, I've been pretty successful at all of it, so I can take a step back and be like, what are you guys talking about?
Does it make you like not want to go on social media sometimes because you just hear bullshit?
No, I don't care.
You're like, no, I'm here for the popcorn.
Oh, look at this guy. No, not at all. I know. I just, I don't know. I have a different outlook on that social media thing. I think some people like get too wrapped up in it, and it starts, hurting their self-esteems and this and that, and making them act weird. And no, I just, like it's all fun to me.
I mean, I've done it. I've gotten involved in it. I get people post shitty stuff sometimes. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
That's what I think about it. But I had another question for you. Was the feathers on the hooks on the Depths 250?
Yeah.
When did you start doing that, and why did you start doing it?
So when the Depths 250 first came around, they all had feathers.
Okay.
They all came with these big, puffy white chicken feathers on them.
Do you remember when you got it? What year?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't remember the exact year. I think it was
maybe
is it 2008 or
okay,
something?
So maybe like 10 years ago.
It's like 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And they all had these feathers on them. And I think it was before Butch was really like, I don't remember. I don't want to say the timelines or whatever.
Yeah.
I have really bad memory with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it wasn't like popular yet. It was still like a really big secret. My buddy Terry Lancaster was the one that told me about it. When I first looked at it, I remember Ben had one at his store at the hookup early on. And I was kind of like, that thing looks like a rubber ducky, dude. Like, what the hell is that? And I wouldn't have even known, when I first saw it, I wouldn't have even known how to work it.
Yeah.
I would have been doing it wrong, and I would have just wrote the bait off. So, but when I finally started fishing it, they all had those feathers on them. And some of my buddies, like at that time, I was talking to Matt Purcell and Chris Purcell and stuff, and Ben, and kind of asked them, and they were all like with the idea that like, take that shit off. It's not natural. It needs to be supernatural. Change the hooks, take those off. But I always did really well. I left one with both hooks, and I mean, shit, they added to the action, right? Like it would go one way and they would fly out, and then go other way and they would fly out the other way. Mm-hmm. And I caught fish on them. But those weren't quite like the feathered hooks that we're talking about. So the feathered ones that I'm talking about, it started when I started throwing the Roman Maid Mother and the Hinkle trout. Those are a 10-inch or 12-inch, we're talking about the 12-inch category now, not the 10s. The 10-inch to me seemed like any bass could just hit it from the side, no problem. Like, it's like they knew. They just, I can take this thing on. But once I started getting into the 12-inch baits, at that time, we were still able to get a lot of followers and see a lot of the fish reaction and read that body language, like when that elephant trumpets, it was, again, like that same kind of thing. Like, what am I looking at here? Like, this fish is acting in a certain way. It's displaying things. It's moving its fins. It's breathing heavier, like it's about to eat it. Like, you learn things, right, when you see this. So I kind of saw like they would circle it and they would look at it and be real confused and kind of give all those signs that they wanted to eat it, but it's almost like they didn't know where to start. Like somebody served a big burger on your plate. And it's like, I know I want to eat the shit out of this thing. It looks delicious, but oh my God, how do I even how do I not get it all over myself? Like, where do I start? Do I need a knife to cut it in half like a girl? Like, what do I need to do here? Like, and I felt like they're displaying that same kind of behavior. Like, they want it, but they don't know where. And then I started realizing that, like, hey, some of these Japanese guys like leave the feathers, and those depths used to come with feathers. What happens if I start putting a feather, but like one tied by me? Because I tie flies too for years. So I was like, instead of that big, nasty white chicken feather that right away I would look at and be like, this is not tied by somebody that ties flies. Like, this shit's, what the hell's going on here? Like, this is somebody just grabbed the clump and like, like, that's not really the right way. Not that there's a right or wrong way, but there is like a way to manipulate it.
So you know how to do it
I kind of looked at it and was like, what if I make it a little more subtle and a little more like the same way that I look at a bass fly in a catalog and maybe like, come on now, like, it doesn't need to be those colors. Let me make it these natural colors. I took it and I started tying my own more subtle flies. And then I also looked at the idea that, like, okay, so if this is for targeting, which I want them to do, I don't want to put it on both because I don't want a rear hookup with this huge bait. Like, that's the most nerve-wracking thing, to see a big fish coming in on that rear hook, because they can shake it easy,
Yes.
right? The leverage, if they come up and move their mouth, like it's coming out. So I don't want them targeting the rear one. I would put it on the front one because I want that front hookup. And yeah, the next trip I went out with that setup, and all of a sudden, like since then, most of 90% of those fish that I would catch on the hooked bait on the feathered baits would come in. They would come in on that front feather.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, to me, it's about them being able to target that, and it gives them something to look at, something to attack, something to strike, and it increased my hookups and my success with those large glides. So that's
which is
why.
super cool though. You tied in the fly fishing to it.
Yeah,
because you probably wouldn't have been able to get the same type of.
No, you
feather.
can't. You still kind of can't. I mean, I
Yeah.
think there's some dudes on Instagram now selling like feathered hooks and people buy them, but like definitely at that time there was.
Did you do something? A video? Was it with the hookup? Right.
I've done some videos with the hookup. Oh, I did a YouTube on my YouTube video. There's like a part 1 and 2.
Part 2, yeah.
Where like the first part I go over this theory of it, how it came to be, and me, like how I came, not just I saw some other dudes doing it, so
did it suck them off?
Yeah, it suck them off. Like no, I explained why I started doing it, how I rationalized it in my mind, and how I saw it work, and then the part 2 was like actually on the vise, so like I had the. Like, I think I put the camera under my fucking second chin and like, now this and now that. But I knew that like the tying part was going to be above most people's heads, and like whatever. Like,
I guarantee you,
but
a lot of people bought.
I wanted to show how to do it and the right way of how, I was lucky to be taught by some really good tiers. And experience their lessons of how to tie flies and how to make them, the difference between nice wraps and just it looks like a turkey. So I was just kind of wanting to share some of those things that I've learned along the way. Because a lot of the fly tying stuff is like how and where to cut these materials. Like you don't just grab a feather and slap it on there. There's a certain part by bending it that you see like, oh, okay, that's where that like the hard part of that inner quill is no longer as hard. That's where you clip it, then you clean off the two sides, and then that gives the thread something to tie onto so it's not slipping out. So how to make them more durable, how to make it right. And that's what I try to kind of portray in that YouTube video.
I tried for surf fishing because I bought a Temple Fork outfitter, like a whole setup, and I tied the fucking flies for the surf ones.
Yeah.
And I remember practicing is at the where you load it to shoot it.
Double haul. Yeah.
And I was just fucking slapping myself in the face. Dude.
Oh, really?
Snapping me in the back of the fucking head.
That's why I always smash barbs on flies, man. Like it's not only for them, it's for me. It's like a mask, My mask protects me and it protects you. Well, the barb, smashing the barb not only protects the fish, it protects my fucking back of my head,
But it's like bait making almost for the tying the fly for us,
Oh yeah, and
it takes talent.
I'm gonna admit, like I was in that, for years I was in that whole like it's only fly fishing, like it has to be on a fly, and then you start tying your own flies, and then it's like, I know this other fly might work, but I'm not gonna fish a fly in a fucking catalog. I need to fish the one that I'm building, the one that I'm working on. I have 3 different variants of it, and I need to find which one is gonna be the best one, like. So yeah, it becomes real addictive like that.
That's
like how I imagine,
like a bait, right?
Yeah,
like
how I imagine somebody that fishes their own baits, like Mike Gilbert, might like, I'm gonna fish that battle shad. What else are you fishing? Just the battle shad. What do you think? Okay, sorry, dude. Damn, all right. Like,
you only fish a battle shad when you guys fish. He can rebuttal because
I don't know because it's been some years. But when he was out here, it was like a new. He was working on the bait, so we were both fishing the shit out of it. Yeah. And it was being really successful. Like it was working insanely good.
No, it's a great bait.
Yeah.
And
but I can see how, like, I've been there. Like you don't want to do the other one, even though it might work better or whatever. Like you're always trying to tweak something in yours and always trying to like get the best out of it and learn something different. Where like, oh, maybe now if I use this cut, maybe if I use this material, maybe if I use that tail, maybe if I do this, like, but
that could really bring you down as a fisherman at the same time. Like if you aren't going to try to use different tools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if the only point to your fishing is a certain goal, to catch a certain amount or a certain size, maybe. But if your goal in fishing is to go out and enjoy and have fun and learn new shit, then like you're succeeded.
Yeah.
So
That's true. I'm going to go grab my phone and we'll get bust into this Q&A part.
Cool.
Let me grab it. Matt came out with a question for Sel.
Did he?
He said, this is hilarious. He said,
all right. What is this monkey?
Matt Purcell said, ask Manny about his ex relationships. It'd be good for your Sunday.
He doesn't even know about some of that stuff that I told you recently.
Yeah,
about.
this is a good joke, Matt. We're not doing that. This is for family people, this podcast.
Or it's just for non-degenerates, for Christ's sake.
No, I got a lot of degenerates listening for sure.
Well, they might like this shit then.
Let me pull up this fucking post. The Cholos with Miklo in there. You like that Miklo fucking ad?
That's the shit. I love it when people do that stuff.
I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Let's see. Let's start the newest first. Okay, this is Maya the Caruso. King Caruso. They have you seen those?
Yeah.
He raises them. Yeah. Super cool.
I follow him,
Yeah. I always hit him up because I want to get one of those one day if my wife lets me. Yeah.
Yeah, a giant.
How many double digits have you got on your hands?
I don't know. Somewhere
10.
7 to 10.
7 to 10. Yeah.
Somewhere 8 to 10. Yeah.
Like you don't really, do you not really care? Like it's cool, but
I remember them.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not like as huge of a thing to me, I've noticed, as it is to other people. There's other guys that out here that fish also, and they haven't caught a 10 yet. And to them, that's the end of the world. Like they're just like, another 9, another 9.8, another 9.5. Like, damn it. It's like,
is Arizona? So a 10 in Arizona, would that be like a 15 in
you know
California?
how like, I think Swimmade Underground has it like.
Do they get points here?
Well, because they
okay.
yeah, we get like 2 or 3 pounds points in their tournaments. So I think that's a good representation that we don't have like a 10 here is like a
13,
or like an 11 is like a 13 in California,
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah.
Right.
And like a 12 is like a 14, 15 for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the end all. So if you say, hey, so and so caught
There's just
10,
not that many caught. Like even at the peak of it, when we were really like when the fishing was really good and there was a lot more guys out here throwing those baits and getting better at it and knowing what they're doing, even then, like I don't remember many, if any at all, catching teeners on it. We've all had like our little experience. We all have our little story about, that one that got away, but none of like, it wasn't a normal thing like how it is in California where it's like, hey, this season, somebody's going to catch a 13, right? Or a 12.
Or a lot of guys have caught
already
10s.
have.
A lot of guys caught 10s
like
11s,
already. Yeah. And a lot of guys can go out and catch a 10.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, it was just a 10, but where we would be like, oh my God.
I would be like that too.
Yeah.
Give me an 8, man.
But the 10s are so, and it's really weird because like when a fish gets to that range, it's kind of almost like what feeding cycle did you catch him in? Because he could easily be anywhere from 10 to 13, 12 very easily, just depending on, did he eat enough of those trout or was he eating enough of those crawdads today or whatever?
No, it makes sense. Like when I caught my
they're so big, like that.
Yeah.
That structure's there, the shoulders, the belly. Like there's room for expansion.
Yeah, that's when you pull the fish up, you see it's skinny or whatever it might be. Yeah. This is Fish for Life 1. If you had to pick striper or largemouth to fish and guide for,
Largemouth.
Largemouth.
Well, because we don't have we had really good largemouth fishing that even though it wasn't like, again, the California size, I still feel like it was in the top 5 states that you wanted to be fishing for big bass in, where our striper fishing here in the local Phoenix area, here we don't have that for the stripers. Like our stripers are a 10. Again, a 10 is like really big. We don't have
20.
There's just not 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s like how in Georgia and shit like that, where it's like, oh, it got 20, cool. Like, it doesn't balance. So like maybe if they were like 30s and 40s and 50s, like I'd probably I'd want to be fishing that, right? Yes. I like the bigger and stronger, dude. They fight insane.
Yeah.
So if we were able to fish them that's the other thing too, like the way that I like to fish them here, I think it's also different maybe than like how some of those rivers set up, and it makes it a little easier maybe, or I don't know. I'm not trying to say that, but yeah, like if we could fish them on those big ass spoons or with swim baits, like that'd be a lot of fun. But you know,
it's just not going to happen.
What I loved was the setup that I had for many years, which was having people come in, stay for 2 days, stay at the house. We bang them, we would grind hard for 2 days, sun up to sunrise, and you know, catch those 8 pound normal fish, fun. You know, Great. 8s and 9s all over the place, and like that was the shit. I loved that. Yeah. Life was happy. There was nothing more exciting.
Do you experiment? This is Nick Lawhorn. Do you experiment with new baits or stay with the tried and true? If you experiment, how do you keep yourself grounded without getting sucked into the big bait hype?
Yeah, no, I definitely try new things. There's like the tried and true for sure, like works. And, but no, yeah, I constantly try to be up on new ones. And
I feel like this question could be pointed towards that. You kind of got put into a category because you were fishing the swim bait for a long time. So you got pushed into Manny, Chee, the swim bait guy.
Right. And like the 250.
But you're not that, right?
No, I'm not that. And like, even if I do latch onto a bait, like let's say the 250, the Depths 250, the reason like I promote that one and the reason I tell people like, dude, buy that is because it has some key features. Like, you don't have to worry about paint. It's got that outer shell. So you're not going to be scratching paint. It's going to last longer for you. It's super effective. Like that's the other thing. I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, I like that bait. That's a good bait. Like I like it a lot. Oh really? And so you've caught a lot of fish on it? No, you know, I caught one. Like I don't. Fuck, are you liking it then? Like who cares? Like it doesn't fucking work, you know, or whatever.
Do you feel like you picked that bait though because like
it's so fucking effective? And like, and I would try other ones. The outer shell, the durability, the price effectiveness. Like they're already expensive enough, so like let's promote stuff that's going to be cost effective, and that I know. Like the swim is good, the tune is good. There's a quality that's going on. There's the right colors or whatever. So like, yeah, there's features that like if I say like. That's the best glide bait for the money. It's based on like actual stuff that I've thought about, not just like, oh yeah, it's the best because like people like it and you'll look cool if you like catch one on it. You're like, no, I don't give a shit about that. Like it
catch it on a piece of shit as long as it's
catch. And then like there's definitely hype baits out there, but again, like for me to be hype on it, like it has to produce or it has to do something so different that that the other ones don't. Or you know, there's a lot of times when like, I think it's really interesting how baits, like they match up with styles of fishing. So like if you're getting a bait from a bait maker that likes to throw a glide, like, and just reel it in a slow, steady motion, like if I'm over there trying to do my like, you know, zoom, 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 and the bait's not doing the right swim, then it's never going to work for me. And I'm just going to say, oh, that's a piece of shit. Never mind.
You need to use the right application.
So, yeah. And it's really cool. Like when you find one that like, hey, this lines up with like my style. This is what I like to see in a glide or a multi-piece or, you know, or in a top water. Like I like, you know, and again, I like it because it works for me, not just because like, oh, I think it looks cool in the water. Like,
but you'll try other baits.
Oh yeah, I try them all.
If it works.
Yeah, like I try a lot of them, and some of them I'm just like, this is dumb, and I go back to like something else, and like, oh, there's the fish again. Like now they're following, they're reacting, they're eating. So I constantly innovation. Like I love it. You know, I love having something new, and there's nothing more exciting. And for a while, it was like, what glide bait do you want to send me? Because I'll make it happen on there. You know, like we'll figure it out. And I do like finding those different nuances. Like say the Mega Bass eye slide, or the eye slide. So like that one is a very different action and needs very different input than the slide swimmer or the mother. Like it's really much more like rod related, and you have to be on top of it. You got to really like know how to be in control of that bait, which you would see most people like online just, oh no, that bait, that thing swims weird, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's because you're not really adjusting to that bait maybe. And like, I do like that being able to adjust to a certain bait and again, learn like how the designer was doing a certain thing with this bait that maybe I'm not tapping into right.
Do you think that gets lost in learning conventional previously? Do you know what I'm saying? So where Oliver kind of made a point is like, hey, throw it like you would throw a jerk bait.
Right.
maybe some guys aren't even working with a jerk bait.
Right.
And
if you've never thrown a jerk bait and you don't have that background, then like that whole comment is kind of lost on them. They'd be like, working like a jerk bait. What do you mean? Like this?
No.
Right.
Of course. This is a comedian, Chef Chris 401. Why do I look like Tech 9? Me.
Thug.
Yeah, because I'm thugged out, motherfucker. That's why I look like that. Juan Munoz, 1980. When on new bodies of water, can you talk about how you like to use electronics and how much time you spend scouting before dropping in a line? That's a good question.
Yeah. So for my electronics life, most of it was spent using the electronics as a thermometer, like an overpriced thermometer. Okay. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what they were doing with them. For the longest time, I thought, like, why would I spend that much on electronics when I'm not fishing what's underneath me? I'm casting out. Like, it doesn't even match. Because, again, I wasn't understanding it. I didn't have, like, nobody taught me. I never jumped on somebody's boat that, like, hey, let me break this down for you. This is how you use it. Like, most of my fishing has been like this. Like, I've had to learn it on my own. Like, nobody likes sharing with me anyway, except for, like, Mike Gilbert. But, when I finally, like, sat down and was like, okay, there's something going on here. My fishing is lacking this side of it. I need to figure out what the hell is going on. And started kind of just doing my research of it to try to how to rationalize what they're doing. And I finally realized the importance of the mapping. Like, I never took the time to buy the little cards on those other graphs. So, of course, the mapping was just, you know, hey, there's a dot. That's where you are. And this blue stuff is water. It looks like Minecraft, you know, like what do you use that for? Like, I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
So once I finally learned, like, oh, this is why, because the mapping shows you the topography of what's going on underneath. Mm-hmm. So then I started realizing, like, oh, those guys that are out there fishing, like, off the shoreline and in the what looks to be like in the middle of the lake, fuck, they're actually like throwing on a ledge that's like, you know, comes 20 to 40 feet and or some peak that like comes up to 15 feet over there. I thought this was all like 90 feet out, just a big basin. But there's this like mountain tip that comes up to like 15 feet. Or there's, you know, that point that I can tell, yeah, that's a point. But I'm usually fishing like the shallow side of that point. That point comes all the way out here, still in fishable water. So, yeah, hopefully, you know, when I fish a new area, there's a map for it. And that helps, you know, for sure. That's like where I'm going to go first. Those key structures or points or features that are in that water that are corresponding with that season, right? Like, what am I looking for in this season in relation to the spawn? And where are those features on my boat? So like the hummingbirds, they were really cool because I can highlight a certain range of depth. So all of a sudden, like if I was to never be at Canyon Lake and I'm there in the winter, I can highlight that like 20 to 30 foot range, and I'll be able to see all those spots where the features are right. And then I can go over them and like find on that feature, on that ledge, there's always like a rocky vein part. That's the chunky rocky of it. And then the other stuff is more like just mellow, sandy, you know, or like gravelly kind of stuff that's actually pretty boring. Those bigger fish are going to want to compete with others and be on that prime stuff that, you know, which let's just say in the winter, the ledge, it's going to be the chunky stuff. So I would then go over it with the side imaging and see where that is and see how it looks underwater. And then I hit my waypoints that are kind of like targets of like, it goes from here to here, right? And then I'll back away from that, and then I can like even turn that stuff off, and now I roll up to it with my mapping, which lets me know where my boat is in relation to that structure, where my cast needs to be. Like, I know it's out there, so I need to, you know, and I can tell by the scale, like it's 75 feet out there, so I need to bomb this thing like 100 feet so that I'm landing behind it and working my way into that structure. And then, you know, if I want to see if there's fish on it, then I go to the sonar, right? But yeah, it's a huge part of it. And it really, it'll cut down the time that you're wasting on like, okay, there's a ledge. Let me work the whole thing. Maybe just go to that key spot, a few casts, and then move on and find another one. And when you do connect with the fish, you can also, again, look at it and then say, oh, that, that last one came on this. Let me try to find that pattern in other spots in the lake, and I can back out of that GPS and find these other, other features on this lake that have that same similar setup, and then go to fish those. So definitely, like I haven't been on new water like in a long time. But I would love to, and that's how I would break it down, is I would take that GPS mapping and start off by the seasonality and like go down the list from there.
Will you turn off the transducer after you've marked your spots just so?
It depends. Think that affects the depends. I mean, it definitely makes sense that it would. You hear that clicking and sound travels a lot in water.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to be more stealth mode, and like Mike Gilbert taught me that kind of stuff, like to really catch big ones, you got to be in that stealth mode. So, yeah, I would, if I was just fishing that, I would turn it off. Sometimes though, like if I'm on a guide trip or something, I want to see, because you'll see the fish as they come under your boat too. And that might tell you like, oh, you know what? I'm casting too deep onto that. Let's back off because they're actually like swimming under the boat here. So both,
That's great.
But I can also see why guys have 2 or even 3, now I understand the 3 thing, but like why guys have 2 screens. I always kind of thought like, oh God, that's just some dude showing off that he's on the program and he can get 2 of them instead of just my one. But now I see why, like, oh no, it's really nice to not have to split the screens and be able to have one with just my mapping showing it in a large perspective, and one with either just my sonar or just my side imaging or just my 360 that's running its own thing, not having to share real estate of the screen with the mapping.
Yes.
So that's like, I definitely see why, and like, want to get more screens. Like,
no, that. I want to get the, I have an old iPad, so I'm going to just try to hook it up and then put it on a RAM mount in the front.
Right.
So I can
I've done that at Havasu to kind of know, again, like where I am and let this other one run something else.
Exactly. This is from Prism Shallow. For most large-sized dead stick baits, what conditions are you looking for to use those baits in? Do you need wind current and RC active feeding fish to utilize it? Or do you use those baits when there is little or no beneficial conditions and want a slower and more subtle presentation?
Easy answer. I've never used a dead stick bait.
There you go.
I tried one time. Like I had some ideas, and again, it was one of those things where like, hey, what do you do with this shit? Like, oh, you throw it out and just there. You could throw it out and put it in the rod holder and just leave it. No, you can't, because you have to, even though you throw that thing out, like I have used them, but I've never caught a fish on them. So I've used them, and it's actually very involved. You have to, like, again, line management. It's not going to do you any good if you just throw it out and don't pay attention, and it gets bit and you have this big bow in the line, and now you're trying to set hook with 80, 100 feet of line out, and it's not going to work. So the only thing I can say about dead stick baits is that they're not just throw it out and forget it. Like, they're very, like, you're constantly kind of having to manage line. But I would say that for out here, it wasn't really a very strong technique.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Null question.
This one's from S33Z3R. And I responded to this already. He said, do you have to get lit to get bit? I said,
yes.
Only when calico fishing.
No, it's all time. Yeah, come on now. Yes. That's a dumb question.
Yeah. This is a good one. This is exclusive fishing. Manny, what's your top 5 go-to glide baits? That's for sure to get a chaser.
Slide Swimmer 250, Hinkle Trout, Roman May Mother, Mega Bass Eye Slide. How many is that? 4?
Yeah.
One more. The high power swim baits gliding gizzard. It's not called an HPH. I don't know where you guys invented that bullshit. It doesn't make any sense at all. The high power swim baits gliding gizzard.
Okay. There's some funny ass ones that are just because I put up shit like this dude's like, make that king cobra and some solos and it's a deal. Because I put in the post, Best question wins a 40 and some Dickies.
Oh.
That was from Head Pot Grower. This is a good one. It says, Icy Fish, where do you harvest your good vibes? Keep sharing outdoors with the positivity.
At the Good Vibes Farm. Thanks.
But really, you're a happy-go-lucky guy, and like,
yeah,
it's just that's how you are, huh?
Well, no, not at all times. Like sometimes I'm a fucking grouch too, you know, or like a pissy little dude. But like, if I'm out there, like, dude, we're out in nature on my beautiful boat, got my dog or a friend or a new client, or like it's fun. Like, how can that not? Like, yeah, how can you? Like, if it starts turning into like a anger thing, like maybe it's time to again hit up that badminton. Like that shit looks like fun. Thanks.
Here's a good one for you. Who's the best big bait chucker of all time besides Butch?
Well, who said it had to be Butch? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously,
that's
right?
fully committed.
To me, it's like, man, from what I've had out here, Mike Gilbert and Oliver and I, like those two guys impressed the shit out of me. Every cast they make is on point. They know how to read the water, right? Like I've had them both out here for their first times, and they've never, they had never been on my waters, and yet they knew exactly. It's not like I had to tell them, like, okay, this rock, cast it over here on this side. Like, no, they just boom, and their skill for that, and their like steadiness, like consistency. Because like I can be good, but then I can be bad too. I imagine everybody goes through this. Like, we can have bad days where it's just like, I keep missing like right where I want it to be. Right? It keeps going like a foot to the left or a foot to the right. But those guys are so good. The way, for me, Oliver Nye, his like technique is so damn flawless. He's a fucking ninja. And Mike Gilbert, his technical side, like what goes on in his brain and how he like breaks down an area and analyzes it and feeds these fish is just fucking insane. Like it's another level, and it's something that I definitely don't have. I learn a lot from him. It's very impressive to watch these guys on the water, and just like anything else, like, you want to get better at tennis, like play with people who are better than you.
Right.
You don't just sit there and pick on the younger, the dudes coming up. Like, if you want to get better, like fish with these guys, because it's like you learn just by watching them and just by being
or just watch what they're doing, seeing what they do.
Yeah.
A great answer.
Mike Gilbert, Oliver Nye.
Yeah. What do you throw when fish just aren't?
Oh, and Matt Purcell too. Like Matt Purcell,
no,
you just had a podcast.
You just big dicked him. You take it out now.
Matt Purcell's up there too. It's just he's not maybe as active as they are on social medias and shit like that, and not bragging, but he's not out there in the world as
Mike,
much.
Oliver, you guys brag.
Fucking
Oliver,
Matt is a fishy fucking guy. He's one of those, like, the other guys, I feel like, Mike and Oliver, like, they've worked for what they got, and Matt just has this natural fishiness where it's just fish are fucking attracted. They want to be caught by him.
Well, the thing about Matt, I like his attitude, because he's like you.
He's real shitty in the morning, dude. He's a fucking grouch in the morning. I love him, but yeah, he's a grouch in the morning.
But he's so nonchalant about shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like if you want to compare someone that has.
Oh, if you want to get yelled at and shit and be fucking mistreated. But I like that intensity because I want to catch that fish too. So yell at me and tell me what I need to be doing, and fucking, it's never like personal attack.
Yes.
It's just an overall attack.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's great.
Yeah.
You need that. This is a good one. Michael Sugarless, what do you throw when the fish just aren't biting anything else?
I throw in the hat.
Right? Shit.
It's seasonal for me, what I'm throwing or what I'm looking for. And I am very much like, one of my downfalls is I would say I'm very much like a do or die kind of guy, where it's like, well, it's winter, so you better eat this shit and in these spots. And if it's not working, then fuck you guys. It's because of you, not me. Yeah. Like, this is you. You guys are already full, or it's the wrong moon, or some shit's wrong with you guys. Like, fuck. So I'm very do or die sometimes. And I would probably be better by having more of these other, but again, it's pretty standby, like Battles Shed and 250s, like
you could figure it out usually.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's other stuff in between that fits the season, the bottom, a multi-piece or some other stuff, HUDs. But it's like with those two baits, time flies out there for me too. Like I always wish I had more time to try more things or to try other techniques. But it's like, fuck, we'll look at my clock. It's already 10 a.m. Like the morning's gone. The morning's over with. Like that bite's done with. So like, yeah, it always it feels like a big race against time sometimes, and there's so much of it where it's just like, shit, should I start on the left side or the right side, and like, should I work this place or that spot, and like, and if that doesn't work, like, what did I miss out on by not choosing the other one? Like, shit. So
yeah,
it's so hard because you can't see them. You don't know.
This one is for Chris. It'd be cool to meet the man, the myth, legend. And here's some stories.
You can do that. Book a trip.
There you go. You want to meet the man, the myth, the legend? Book a trip with Manny.
I'm available.
Rest in pieces. What's your favorite underrated or overlooked bait, either swim bait or conventional, something a beginner could gain knowledge from and experience from?
Let's say the S-Waver 200. I don't hear a lot about, you don't hear like a whole ton about that bait. It's never been a hype bait. It's always in stock. Anywhere that sells those kind of baits has them. And it's inexpensive. And it's worked for us. Like if I ever had somebody that like, I'm here and I'm hardcore into this and I'm bringing my buddy or I'm bringing my girlfriend or I'm bringing somebody that's maybe never even thrown a bait caster. And I don't have like guide setups where I cheapen them down on what's going on. But there are some times when it's like, you're going to beat the shit out of my bait. Like if I put this in your hands. So let me give you this S-Waver 200 because I know that it works. It's going to catch fish. It might not have the same draw as the 250 does or whatever. But I would say that one, and like the Gangcraft too, the jointed claw 230 is another bait that like I never saw it quite become a hype bait. It's always kind of in stock, and we've caught a lot of fish on them. So it's fun. Yeah. So
that's the first. When I talked to Charles, that's my guy. Same thing. He pointed me that way. Get those.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is pointed at. It says, "Fish Hard Inc. When are you going to make fishing lame again?"
Always.
There you go.
Stay lame. Stay lame, fool.
And this one is from Dylan Borisek.
Oh, yeah.
I've been swim baiting 6 years now, and I've seen many double digits during those couple of years.
Yeah.
What is the best way to make a big fish to commit at the boat? I've tried 8 trapping with no luck.
Stop rapping. And no, I'm just kidding. 8 trap, not rap. I'd have to be there, right? To like see maybe what's going on. But when I started and I was getting a lot of follows that weren't committing or that were just kind of nipping, not really crushing the bait, some of the things that I looked at were, what angle am I throwing this thing out of? A big thing for me that why I think I started with a lot of follows was that I was drawing them out. So I was looking at fishing like how I used to look at fishing, where like get 90 degrees of the shoreline, throw it as close as you can to the shore, and then work it out. Well, in some spots of ours, that means you're casting into like inches or a foot of water, and then you're very quickly losing depth. And you're out here in 40 feet now, 30, 20 feet of open water. And you're asking that bass to go ahead and, deny your heritage, like deny your evolution, because the bass is an ambush predator. It's not a tuna. It doesn't overcome its prey by chasing them down the lake until that prey gets too tired to be able to function, and then they freaking hammer them. The bass is an ambush predator that needs to ambush its prey. So its prey needs to become ambushed. So for me, a big thing was changing those angles and where I was casting and how I was casting to cast maybe like look at it like you're on the shore, like tuck my boat in now. Like instead of going 90 degrees, now I put my boat in real shallow and I cast like out into the deep and bring it into the shallow so that that fish is going to be running out of time because the bait's getting too shallow. So it's going to give them an urgency that like, I need to crush this thing, shit or get off the pot. Like, and not just follow it and like, again, they would follow out into open water, and I could tell by their body language that like, this isn't going to work. Why even chase this if it's going to get away from me too easily? Mm-hmm. If you give them something to pin it to, now they're feeling much more confident and they'll put in a little bit more effort to crush your bait. So one was like the angle. Like, how are you presenting? Like, think back and look at the overall picture. What are you presenting and what are you asking from that fish? Like, what are you asking him to do to eat this bait? Remember that like it's crazy because we have this fine line where we have to try to act like we're getting away because a natural predator, a prey, is trying to get away from its predator. It's not trying to just fall into its fucking mouth, right? So you're having to ride this line between like, I'm trying to get away, but I'm too hurt and I can't. But like, come on, eat me. Like it has to play into that natural game. So the angle, the presentation, and then the swim. Like, I don't know how you're swimming your bait. You may be swimming it wrong. You may be imparting too much action. You may not be imparting enough. I can tell you that when I first started this stuff, it wasn't common for me to go out and just catch 6 and 8 pounders every trip. Like, it was a big deal to even see them behind my bait. So the first thing I would do was like freeze, like it's a Senko, like, oh, stop, let it see it. And like, my bait would be from like gliding or, to like, and it would just, I killed the action. And the fish would just be like, oh, I knew it was nothing, and turn away. Well, like, again, that swim is super important. And it's back to one of those things that like, I think a big thing that people learn when they come out here is that dance of the glide, like that swim. What's the swim that gets them to follow? What's the swim that gets them to eat normally, right? Day to day. It's fishing. Everything's going to always, there's no constants. Everything's always changing, and sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's stopped. Somebody's going to be like, well, then how do you explain the fish that I caught when it was coming and I stopped it? I get it, okay? Yes, but I'm talking about shit that's day in and day out of why I was able to take people for, 4 years and consistently make it work.
Yeah.
It's this base, and then from there you can branch out into other ideas. But, the swim is super important. And again, if you're lucky enough to still be getting fish that are following in this day and age, because I think most of us in California and Arizona, we don't really see followers like that anymore. They just don't do that, right? Whether it's they've been conditioned or it's just the cycle is different or whatever. We're not having those like 30, 40 follow days like we used to hear. So, I don't know. Like if you're still getting those, like to play them, like tease them. One way that I can kind of like analyze this is to like think of playing with a cat. It's different than playing with a dog. A dog will get excited and you can just throw that ball, as far as you can throw. And that dog's like, yeah. I'm focused on the ball. A cat, if you grab, like, even if it wants to play with something and you just go ahead and throw it across the room, the cat's like, oh, well, I'm not going to play with that. It's too far. But if you kind of roll it where it could make like a quick snap, with its paw, then it'll start kind of playing. And when it goes to do that, you pull it back, and then you throw it back and you pull it back.
Yeah.
Or like I've said before, like with a candy bar, right? If I was like, hey, Nick, dude, try this new candy bar. It's awesome. It's like hemp and peanuts and it makes your shit green. Like, really? Dude, I want to try that. And they're like, yeah, come on, like try it. Oh, just kidding. And you'd be like, ha, you're funny, Manny. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Oh. And I stare you in the eyes.
You sure?
And like, come on, like 3 or 4, you're like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm about to smack the shit out of you. Like, stop it, or shove that thing up your own ass. Like, leave me alone. So that same kind of like, that push and pull. I know Dylan hunts also. So like in antelope, I see it. Like, and in antelope, when I got drawn one time, one of my first damn hunts was an antelope archery tag. Antelope is one of like, it was also my first big game hunt was an antelope with a rifle.
Wow.
2 different worlds, completely.
Yes.
Because what I learned is the antelope, it's originally from the plains. It was like an old world animal that came into the North America, and its natural predator was like when we had the cheetahs and fucking lions and shit out here. So its whole game was like, I can let something come 100 yards and I don't care. Something can stand at 300. Something can be standing at 200, waving its arms, 100. But once it closes more than 100, I'm out of here. And it just does this boom, this quick burst of speed, runs away, and then we'll stop and turn around and look at you now like, all right, we're like 500-600 yards. What do you got now? Like, so it's like this little typewriter thing. And it kind of like, it correlates because it's, every fish kind of has its comfortable area where it's like, I don't mind something being this close. And you see it like in the ocean with sharks and shit. Like, wait a minute, why are these jacks swimming around when they know that the shark eats them? But they know, like, yeah, they eat me, but that shark's over there. That's not really an issue.
Yeah.
Unless I see him start maneuvering and getting all close, then I got to get the fuck out. So it's that same, like that, you know, that antelope with the archery getting closer than at that time. I definitely wasn't, you know, confident enough to be trying to hit one at 100 yards or 80 or even 75. But I needed to close that in, and it was so hard because in that 100 yards, they are so in control of that range, and they're just like, oh, nope, we're out. And then we start running
sneaky as fuck.
Yeah. Whereas with a rifle, like, you know, and again, maybe this goes on to the, you know, well, I shot it with my bow. You're right there. You know, you had to get in that 100-yard like realm. You had to get into that closer thing, and that is harder to do than just, oh yeah, no, it's all good. It can stay at 300 yards. Watch this scope I got. It's fucking badass, and I know how to shoot, and I've been practicing a lot. So yeah, it's that same with these bass. Like that bait, you have to think about, like, you know, in nature, that little bait has its like realm of where it's comfortable having a bass here, but not right here. So I want to get away if he comes in and closes that, move out a little, but not so much where I'm like the cat, where like I already threw it too far and the bass is like, fuck it. So I need to keep like that magnetism where it's like, you could get it if you just do a little burst of energy. Oh, just kidding. Oh, come on. You know, come here, motherfucker. You know, you could get me if you really wanted it over here, but oh no, you can't. And you see that like build up, and that's like the, you know, when you're teasing these fish on these visual baits like glide baits, that was like shit. What got me so excited was like, wow, it's like a bullfight. Like I'm toying with the bull, right? And I'm like teasing him to like, come on. But I have to know, just like that bullfighter knows when to push, when to pull, when to give it space, when to take its space. Like it's this dance that like you have to tease.
And you're sight fishing this most of the time.
These are on sight. If you're seeing the follower, then you've got them. And you know, then you learn, like as you get more practice with that, you learn like, oh, okay, like certain behaviors. Like when I see him coming at this bait a certain way, which is like usually, you know, if I saw one and the glide's going and I saw a fish that was like zigzagging with the glide, like it was like, oh shit, hold on, get the net, like get ready, here it comes, it's gonna eat it. As opposed to like one that's like the bait is gliding and the fish is just following underneath, like, you know, feet back and in its blind zone, because it's like tracking it in the fish. It knows where, like, you can't see me here. I'm not really like super excited on this, but I'm following. Yeah, those, it's kind of like, ooh, just take that as research, right? You see now, like, ooh, I've accessed where a fish that I would want to catch hangs out at some point in the day, right? At some point in the day, that fucker knows that, like, somewhere in here, if I analyze this spot again, and maybe I look at the topography, I look at, you know, I go over it on the side imaging, I try to understand what's going on down there. Where's that rocky, chunky vein? Or where's, like, what is that animal doing in this zone that's like accessing him to food, you know, giving him access to food, and how should that food come into that spot? So taking a bigger picture of it and analyzing it like that might help with those follows. No,
you answered. I was going to follow up with, what do you do when you get that? You just answered my question. When you get that follower right there.
Right.
The toying, like no one,
I
think out of all the podcasts, no one said it that way, like where makes sense. You just give it a little more. Oh, it's going to get a little more. Yeah. Give it a little more and see what happens, like a cat.
A little more, but not too much. A little more, not too much. Because you'll see it, you know, if you went off too far and it's like, I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
But if you let them think that, like, oh, I can kind of get away, but I'm broke. You know, my back's broke. You know, I'm down a wing. Shit. Like, you could get me.
Another question I had, we're done with the questions, thank guys, was a tendonitis.
Oh my God, it's solved.
So my friend Joe from Performance had the same issue.
Yeah.
Talk about what you did to kind of help with that. Because I'm sure a lot of
dudes...
I
had tendonitis real bad. And it was to the point where it was like crying type. And I don't cry, motherfucker. Like, I'm just kidding. I do cry. I usually cry with like dog stuff, dog shows. But I had it really bad. And what I was really open to anything. Like, what can be done to solve this? So I went to acupuncture. And I do think that it helped a lot. But it didn't like solve it like right away. It was still hurting. And the problem too was that like I was getting it so bad, the tendonitis, that like I'm not using that arm for other things like drinking coffee, picking up this. So my shoulder was also getting, I was starting to have like a really bad like nerve pinching kind of feel in my shoulder. Oh shit. That like started out with just, ooh, what the hell was that move? Why did that movement hurt? And then like try to do it. No. And just certain movements were like, oh shit. And it was, I think it was from not using the whole range of movement. So I went to the acupuncture. It helped out a lot. It was really weird. It wasn't painful, but it wasn't fucking enjoyable either.
They put it behind your ears.
It felt like, you ever play with like a chicken foot, you know, like a Chinese restaurant or something? Maybe you can, sure, not everybody orders chicken feet except me and Oliver and I. But like you pull on a tendon, or if you're bird hunting and stuff, you can pull on a certain tendon and it makes this like move. Yeah. It's like they were doing that with the pins. Like, shit. Like, I feel like a puppet, you know, like, what are you doing? And then they like hook it up to electricity and it like tick, 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 tick. It stimulates it. The way he explained it was like, you know, your fibers have been stretched and they've gone together wrong again. So we need to like reopen them and have them align the right way and heal. So again, it kind of helped, but it didn't solve it. And it didn't. And like, as far as the shoulder, he was like, we don't have anything really that's like, we can put a few pins here or there and see if that does it. But the shoulder's something else. Like, fuck. So then this was all during the COVID time. And then I found like here, our massage places and salons opened earlier than California. You guys probably never even opened at all. But here they opened. And like that day, I was like, ooh, those places have opened again. And I hit like one of those up. A legit one, not the Asian like funny business massage, like a legit one. Okay. And I went to that and this guy was there. And I told him like, hey, I'm here because I had tendonitis really bad. My shoulder hurts a lot. I've been to acupuncture. It kind of helped. And he was like, this is going to work better than acupuncture. I was like, well, cool, whatever. Like, I'm open. I'm not, judging it at all. Yeah, let's do it. And he was like, watch, it will. And so he focused just on that one. And there was times when like he would grab my arm and like pull it, so far back. And I heard it like, oh, but it felt like a relief. Like, oh, dude, that feels so good. Like, I haven't been using it in the right way. And then, but it still kind of hurt after that still. But that helped out a lot also. And then that last trip that I took to when we were going to do the podcast and I ended up going rockfish fishing with Purcell. Yeah. And that morning I'm like packing up my stuff. And again, I was like so sick and tired of, now it was the shoulder pain. I was just like, fucking A, man. I almost want to cry. Like, why is this happening? And I'm going to go and try to fish, rock fishing with the jig and stuff. And like, this is going to kill me. Like, what's going on here? And I finally got so pissed off with it that I have one of those rollers, because there was a time when I was kind of like doing triathlons or running and all this kind of shit. And I had one of those foam rollers, and I just got so mad. I put it against the wall and just like smeared my shoulder into it. I was like, pop. And I heard another like big pop. And that was it. So that pain went away. Maybe I had a fucking dislocated shoulder the whole time. I don't know. But it felt like it was one little strip of tendon or something that was knotted. I finally busted it, and then it like went back.
And you had it for how long?
Dude, I dealt with that for like 2 years, 3 years. The elbow one was like a solid 2-3 years that like it had kind of built up. And then the shoulder one was maybe 6 months of hell. Like that was something I needed to get out of my life. And then here's the weird thing. One of my best friends, Ray, since I was a kid, Ray has always been like very into like video games, comic books, kind of culture, cool shit, never into any outdoor stuff. So it was always like, I grew up with people that like, this outdoors thing is something that I go do with my dad, with my family. You guys don't do this. That's fine. We're all still best friends, whatever. But he was also like always into martial arts. And we go hiking this day. And like, we hadn't seen each other with the COVID stuff too. And we go hiking and I tell him like, dude, I just got, acupuncture and this and that. And, I've been having this problem and I kind of show him like, it's because like repetitive motion and we cast like this, but it's not the cast. It's then I put the rod under here and then I go like this and I'm like, retrieving, at that time I was fishing a lot of soft baits. So I was really like, keep it all in line, your rod pointed at your bait. And I was going like this and he's like, hold on a second. Like, let me explain something that I'm seeing right away in that technique of how you're holding that. He's like, in this Wing Chun thing that we do, like, he's like, we are always taught to keep our elbows in. The second you pull them out, now it's this muscle is the one doing all of the holding. And your arm is not designed to do this. Your arm's designed to do this. Yeah. Your bicep, your shoulder, your pec. It's designed to like hit stone, right? Like, It's designed to do this with your elbow in tight is where you have the most strength. So he's like, hold up your arm like that. And I'm, you try to like keep me from pushing you down. I'm going to push down. And, it was like an infomercial. Like when I tried to like this, like, oh, God! I almost fell on the ground. And he's like, now keep your elbow in, and I'm going to try, hold your hand tight like this, and I'm going to push down. And it's like, and I was like, oh, yeah, our strength is from doing this. So he was like, yeah, our dude always elbows in and shoulders relaxed. Because I see that you're also like, so elbows in, shoulders relaxed.
So you're doing the same thing.
I changed my technique of how I hold it all. And where that turn is coming more from the wrist really than like before it was coming from my elbow going like this. Mm-hmm. Now I turn it into a little bit more wrist and I have my elbow in and my shoulder relaxed and no more issues. Like it's done. Dude. It was purely anatomy.
You know how many people probably do that? The same thing you do?
And like in all of my, in all of the hobbies I do, I'm very like technique oriented where it's like, no, dude, you're standing the wrong way. How do you expect that bait to end up over there when you're fucking standing over here, like to cast it this way and you're trying to like, like, no, set your shit up right. So for me, that was huge that I'd never seen anything about this, about holding your elbows in the fishing world. And it's changed my life. So
that's a great piece of information.
Keeping my elbows in, and it's all anatomical. It all has to do with how our body is designed. Like we're not designed to do this all day. We're designed to do this all day.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So that changed it up.
Let's plug your guide service where everyone can get a hold of you.
Ooh, so we've these last few like I had a website, MannyChee.com. It'll take you to MannyCheeOutdoors.com, same thing. And when I first started this thing, like it was cool because people were really impressed by the website. It was kind of new. It was innovative. It had videos. I'd get a lot of like, oh, dude, that website's badass. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, thanks, dude. And then like as the years went on, I never really updated it. Yeah. And then I never really heard anything again. It was kind of like, that dude's website's going to be whack. And then all of a sudden, I pay GoDaddy for their renewal and freaking it's gone. Like, page not found. So my website like got deleted and nobody could figure it out. The GoDaddy people, they were just like, it's gone, dude. You're gonna have to build another one. So for a while I didn't have any website at all. And I was kind of like, fine, I don't need no fucking website. Like I got Instagram and I freaking, like that. Yeah. But then I kind of got to thinking like, wait a minute, especially in today's days when you start realizing like all of that social media stuff could go away any minute. Like any minute. Somebody could shut down Instagram. They can shut down Facebook. They can shut down Twitter. They can shut down YouTube. Like all that stuff can just go offline or change. And now all of a sudden your whole marketing ploy has gone to shit. So it's kind of like, okay. And one thing, the COVID thing again taught me was like, go back to what I used to do, which is like the guerrilla marketing of it. Like getting to the stores, taking those people fishing in the stores where like if somebody comes and, comes to the Orbit store, has been sending me a lot of trips lately. Like if someone comes there, you're the guy they think about. Like, oh yeah, go with Manny. Oh, go with Manny. Go with Manny. So out in the world again. And part of that too was like, I do need that website. Like I do need something. And I don't want it to just be super basic landing page. I want a little bit better, but I also don't want to be spending thousands of dollars on a website. So that website now has been being built again by my buddy Kenny. And it's been a learning process for him too, but it's almost done. Like this week we'll be working on pretty much trying to wrap it up, finish the last of the
Manny
things.
Chee Outdoors?
It's at mannychee.com.
Okay.
And again, that'll link you to Manny Chee Outdoors or mannycheeoutdoors.com. And I like it. I like it a lot, dude. It's fucking cool.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, it has like video stuff playing. The pictures now are like real nice and clear.
Yeah.
There's like a trip selector that kind of lets you know exactly like, hey, are you looking for this? This is what I offer. The house, the this, the that. A much simpler way of breaking it all down. Not too much wording and, come and enjoy the freaking, the wonderful, masterful outdoors of Arizona. Blah, blah, blah. It's just like, dude, we're going swim bait fishing, okay? Come to the original swim bait experience 2 days or 1 day, So I try to keep it simple and I really like it. And then the cool thing too is like I have so many like cool pictures and memories and like it was real easy, like real fun to just like, oh, you know what? There's a certain, how about was this picture work in here and this tile and how about this for that tile and this little video part for that. So and hopefully that one will grow into where I also kind of do like a kind of trip report every time. Whether it works or it doesn't. Like, so-and-so came out, we did this, we did that, blah, blah, we saw this, we saw that, blah, blah, blah.
That's great.
Yeah, and something of like a little bit of a blog without necessarily being like the cheesy blog that's, let me break down my idea of the glide bait theory. Like, nah, just fucking shut up. And like, this is what we saw today, this is what we did.
Which is great because then that gives you like a personal, like a truthful experience. Like, hey, it sucked a cock today.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do?
Out.
Yeah. And it's like, it happens. It's like anything else, or you can learn. Thank you for having me and my son over. This is the first.
Thanks for coming down.
This is the longest I've been away from my wife in 20 years a day.
Hey, so come out for the Manny.
And thanks for giving us a room. If you guys want to come to an awesome experience, come check out Manny.
Thank you.
You want to plug any sponsors real quick?
Lowdown Custom Rods. Big things coming in 2021.
Awesome.
That is the right thing. Yeah. Big things coming from Lowdown Customs, Swim Bait Underground, my hats and shirts. Thank you guys, everybody, so much that bought those out so quickly and helped feed Hemi. All proceeds go to Hemi's belly and some new shoes.
There you go. And new kicks.
Yeah, new kicks. Working Class Zero. Mike's helped me out so much with baits and knowledge and friendship. All the local stores, the Hookup, Orvis, Phoenix Fishing Supply, everybody's just been great along the way. Optimum Baits, we definitely, it's helped me out a lot to not have to be buying all those slide swimmers and thumper tails and the boom booms. And, it's really cool how all of these have all been, I feel like it's like the right time, the right age. The people that own these companies, whether it's Matt Pano, Ben Donati, Chris Purcell, Mike Gilbert, we're all like in the same age range. We all like are very, we're similar people that I feel like even if it wasn't fishing, we would be friends if we were all thrown in a big group of people. We would be like, these are the people that I gravitate towards. And it's not just the products and the saving of money for my business that I'm not having to drop thousands of dollars and getting these baits and rods and gear and clothing, but it's been this huge friendship and really just enriching of the life experience.
Yeah, that's why it's cool to get all you guys that are friends on a 1 month.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So it'll be the next one will either be Chris and Matt. I think it's gonna be Mike.
Cool.
So it'll be Mike.
Gilbert's
and then it'll be Chris and Matt, and then
Yeah.
I'm waiting for confirmation on the last one. I'm hoping it happens. I can't say yet until I get a full confirmation from Purcell. So if it does, you guys are gonna have a banger of an end of the year. So
shit, cool.
But thanks again.
New Year's party?
COVID party, bro. Thanks again to Swim Bait Underground for all the support and help over the time of the podcast. All you guys, everyone that's coming on this month has been a huge help. Minus One guy I'm trying to get on, Ben, won't come on. You know, son of a bitch.
And not because he doesn't want to, just because he's too nervous. And he's like the funniest out of all of us, Ben, and the smartest.
I think Ben's podcast would be amazing.
It would be so good.
He's so funny. But same thing, good. Ben, all these guys have helped build this podcast. I mean, listenership, everything, the Patreon. Like, I'm starting to actually get a little back on the podcast, so it's amazing. Optimum, same thing, I think. Yeah. Thank you to everyone for listening. And if you can, give us 5 stars on iTunes and leave a positive review.
Nice.
All right. Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick. All right.